everyone, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. Today I have a new project for you with my newest set from Gina K Designs, Stately Flowers 12, and I'm going to show you a new way that you can frame up this mini calendar using another stamp set from the Stately Flowers series. Stately Flowers 10, which has the seed packet label in it. So it's going to fit right in this area. So this was created that you can put flowers in there, greetings, or now this mini calendar. You can do this in two different layouts. You can do it in portrait style or landscape. I think I'm going to do the landscape version of this card today, but I wanted you to be able to see both. We're going to be coloring in the violet from this new Stately Flowers 12 set, and I hope you watch to the end because I have a special story about the person that I'm creating this for. In addition to those two stamp sets from Gina K Designs, you're also going to need a MISTI and then just some different blocks. I like to have a small block too on hand in addition to the MISTI for those really tiny images that I'm using. And I've already got the January laid out from my previous card, so you can watch my other video on Stately Flowers 12 where I show lining that up. The cardstock that we're going to be using, I've got the Gina K Pure Luxury Lovely Lavender. You could also use the Wild Lilac, which is what I used on the other sample. Then I've got a mat that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. I've got a scrap that I'm going to stamp that label on and create the little butterfly. And then just one of her coordinating envelopes. The ink pads that we're going to be using, I've got the Gina K Lovely Lavender and Jellybean. And then I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black for stamping the numbers and my flower. Scissors for cutting out that seed packet, or you can use your paper cutter. I've got the new Gina K Connect glue for that little butterfly, and then just some foam tape for popping up the seed label. And then the colors that I'm going to be using today, I've got the Zig Clean color markers in lilac, emerald green, light green, light violet, and yellow. So let's get started by stamping out our seed packet label. And you can use the Pure Luxury heavy base weight or the lightweight for this. And I've already got it on the Gina K. Let's see, this is the 4 inch by 3 inch block. So the seed packet fits on that perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up in the Jellybean. And one of my tips for today is to make sure that if you're not used to dark roast coffee, don't drink it before coloring something. My hands were shaking really badly doing my sample, so it made me a lot jitterier than I realized. Okay, so I'm going to get this. I'm going to stamp it close into the corner, and you can do a perfect trim on this, or you can use a die cut, or you can try to create a little bit of a lip or a rim around the edge. Press all over. Okay, and I had a little something on my stamp there. I should have checked it before I stamped it. So what I'm going to do, instead of restamping it, I'm going to take just a little blender pen here, or you could use a water brush, and I'm going to pick up just a little bit of this ink to fill it in. And I'm also going to be stamping over that, so you're not even going to see it. Okay. All right, so let's just keep going there. That's going to fade a little bit. Then we're going to stamp in that calendar. So we've got January on here, so we've got the month, all the numbers in place, and then the days of the week. So I'm going to cut this out, and I'm just going to leave, you know, about 1/8 of an inch around the edge, just following that line. And then I'll make this just a little bit smaller on the sides, just so I can see more of my flower on my layout. All right, so I'm going to lay this just right on here, and it's okay if it goes out over the edge. Let's see how that just fits in there right in the middle. Okay, and you can use your magnets to make sure that that doesn't move. So I'm going to ink this up with the Tuxedo black. Close the door. And we've got our little calendar. So I'm going to put this aside, and then I'm going to do the rest of the stamping with my blocks, just because I want to leave that on there for right now. I'm doing a lot of January birthday cards. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to put on this little violet to label the flower across the top of the packet. And then I'm going to use some of the greetings from the Stately Flowers 10 in this little area. So I'm going to do birthday blessings. So I'm actually going to use a longer block here to make sure that I've got it spaced on there just how I want. So I've got the birthday blessings, and I can just put them right here on my mat. And then this is the Gina K ruler block. So I can just press that down. And then it's just going to pop right into that space on the packet. Birthday blessings. Okay, so now we want to put this onto our card. And so I've got my mat. And I said we were going to do this layout like this. So I want the violet right here. So I'm going to stamp this one in the Tuxedo black. Okay, so it's just going to be peeking out there, and then I want to have room down here for the greeting. So right about here, and I just like it peeking out. It's okay if it overlaps. I think it makes it look a little bit more interesting. And then I'm going to put down, there's something to celebrate at the bottom, which is obviously from the seed packet, a birthday. And then if you want, on the inside of your card, you can put that every day. So there is something to celebrate every day. Okay. And then next what I want to do is I'm going to figure out where I want to have my little butterfly on this card. So I mentioned last week, this is actually a bold filler. It's a two-step stamp for one of the other images on my Stately Flowers line. It's from Stately Flowers 4. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do this in black, but you could do it in purple or lavender, whatever you like. I've got a couple cut out over here already, but I'm going to stamp it so I know where I want to put the little antenna. And the antenna are separate in case you want to do them in different colors. And if you are filling in the line art image from Stately Flowers 4 that already has those antennas attached. Okay? And then if you wanted, you can pop that up, which is what I'm going to do after we color here. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to fill in just real lightly the violets. And you'll have to look online. There are so many different ways to color violets. There are lots of different varieties. And I already have a violet in my Stately Flowers line because the Wisconsin one is wood violet. So this one is a little bit different looking. And then I'm going to take this darker, the light violet, and just swirl that into the middle and then down underneath where it's going to be folding under. And then here. So I'm just doing really simple coloring today because my hands are still a little bit shaky. And then you can also do just some little streaks or stripes to accent those veins. Put a little bit on the tip there. But very easy to color. They have so many little contour lines in it. Same for the stems and leaves. So I'm taking this light green and I'm putting that in, leaving some white open areas where you see less of the lines in the illustration for highlights. And you can make a shadow around it if you want, but I didn't today. I didn't really want it to look like it was cut and laying down on the mat. I wanted it to look like it was standing up. And then I'm going to take the darker green and just add some of that where the shadows are, and just to give it more depth. This one, the emerald, obviously is just more kind of a sea green, and the other one is more springy green. So I'm putting it under here. And then I'm going to make these green. I think I made them yellow before, but kind of just color how I feel like coloring when I'm working on these. And then that yellow in the center, and then I'm going to do just a little bit of the lighter green here. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to put some foam tape on the back of this. So I'm just going to tear off some pieces of my foam tape. And I'm really excited to make these mini calendars and keep mixing up all of the different frames that I've got with all the different flowers. It's going to go over just like this. One thing I just realized I forgot to do, but it's okay because I have some room here in the middle. I want to use one of the little accent pieces to specify the date. So for this particular card, this person's birthday is on the 27th. So you see you've got the circles, the squares or diamonds, and then the little bracket images. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this little circle. Actually, I think I want to use the little bracket. I just love how fancy this little one is, kind of like a quatrefoil shape. And I'm going to do it in the green, but you could do it in the black or the lavender, whichever you like. I think that's why I had the lavender pad out, actually. So I'm going to put this on the 27th. Okay, I just like how that emphasizes that word. And then I'm going to use some of the Connect glue to adhere this to my base. And then the Connect glue on the fold of that butterfly. I just love this glue. I really prefer it to tape runners, which, as you know, if you've watched a lot of my videos, have a tendency sometimes to get unraveled because my cat's in my room all the time. It's one of her favorite toys. And I also just like how it gives you just that wiggle room to move it over a little bit rather than trying to pull away tape adhesive. So here's my little butterfly that I stamped and already cut out just to save time. Or you could do it in the lavender. Maybe I'll do the lavender one instead. And then you could do this somewhere else on the card if you wanted. And then I'm just going to do just a little bead of that Connect glue. Where did I just put the glue? Oh my gosh. Okay, here it is. It rolled away. So I'm going to put just a little bit of this on the back. And you can do just a really, really thin line or a thick line. It's just perfect for embellishments. So you're just going to press it down and hold it for a minute. Actually, since I already stamped it in the black, I'm going to do the black, since you see that layer underneath. Like I said, I had dark roast coffee. I'm a little scattered. Okay, let's put a little more on there. And there we go. And then some glitter would be gorgeous on that. I wish I had thought to get that out. So I'm going to show you this other layout really quickly. So January 27th, I met a really fascinating woman last Friday. It was at the end of a very emotional week for me. And I was in the Austin Pets Alive thrift store, which is my favorite place on earth. It's a thrift store right in my neighborhood that benefits the animal shelter and has made Austin the largest no-kill city in the country for cats and dogs. So while I was in working my shift, and I was having kind of a hard time getting through it just because I was feeling so emotional that day, a woman came into the store that I helped, and she was in there for a little while, and she came up to me. Her name was Lori, And she said, you know, I want you to help me with something. I challenged myself 1 year ago. I'm a week away from finishing it, to meet a different woman every single day for 365 days. So you can find Lori Klein on Instagram, 365 Wow Women. And she went out of her way and was really intentional about finding people that she thought were amazing and that she wanted to connect with and have them share their story. So she was almost, you know, almost finished when she met me that day. And I was just so privileged and honored. And to hear her tell me, you know, that she'd been watching me that day, how I interacted with customers, seeing me give my time and telling me I was amazing, that was something that I really needed to hear. So I hope you will check Lori out at that 365 Wow Women. And if you have time, just read a little bit about our story. So this card is going to go to Lori this week when she's wrapping up these 365 stories. And if you look back here as well, there's actually a link that you can click to go to a video that was on the news. They did a story on Lori. And I would challenge all of you to kind of pay this forward, you know, to read about some of these ladies, but then think about something that you can do each day that's going to really enrich your life and someone else's. You might be having a terrible day, but if you can find one thing to be thankful for, one thing to compliment someone else on, one thing to do for somebody that's going to cheer them up, then we'll just all be so much happier and so much better for it and blessed for it. So thank you very much, Lori. I'm really excited to send you this card and to continue to connect with you, and you've really inspired me. Let me show you really quickly. I forgot to do the inside of the card, but let me show you how I would do that. You can see on here, I always love to take the main image that I use and then stamp that right onto the inside. And then I like to take the little butterflies and stamp them on the back, or a small image from the set, so that I can just write my name under it. And then you can also repeat that right onto the envelope, that violet. So it's all just really nice and coordinated. So thanks for watching today. I hope you visit my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more ideas and inspiration using all of our stamp sets from Gina K Designs, and visit us at Stamp TV. Thank you so much for watching today. God bless.